Pre-flop all-in matchups between two players are a fairly common occurrence in no-limit Texas Hold'em. It would be beneficial for you to memorize or at least be acquainted with some common matchups and their chances of winning the hand by the river. So let's talk about 6 of the most common heads-up all-in pre-flop matchups and then their corresponding chance of winning the hand by the river. So we've got 6 that we'll go through. On the far left, we have your hand, and on the far right, we've already listed the chances that it wins by the river. What we've left out, and we'll go through now, is what your opponent's hand is. So in our first example, we have a pair. It's 83% chance of winning. It's the best situation possible, pre-flop. What does our opponent have here? He has 2 undercards. So imagine pocket aces versus 10-jack suited, pocket 10s versus 7-8 offsuit, etc. On average, a pair wins 83% of the time against 2 unders. In our next example, we have a pair, and our opponent has a lower pair. Aces versus kings, queens versus 2s, etc. We lose a little bit of equity, but we're still very strong at 80%. Our third example, pair versus 1 overcard and 1 undercard. So think kings versus ace queen and so on. Still a very strong position, 71%. Pairs are proving to be really powerful for us. Our fourth example is our non-paired hand, 2 overs versus 2 undercards, 2 unders. So this is any 2 cards that are high, like king 10 versus say 9-8 offsuit, or ace king versus 10 jack. We actually have a 63% chance of winning. We're almost winning this 2/3 of the time. Basically, whoever connects with the board and gets a pair is gonna win the hand. And the reason we're 63% is because we also win all the outcomes where neither player makes his hand. Now to a slightly worse situation. We just have 1 overcard, and our opponent has what we would call 2 middle cards. We'll say 2 middles. So this would be ace 2. Basically, a good archetype here is any weak ace versus 2 face cards. So ace 2 versus king 10 offsuit. It's slightly better than a coin flip. We have 56% equity in the hand, which I thought was interesting. Finally, our 6th hand is a pair, and it sort of bucks the trend of how powerful pairs were earlier in the video. 55% equity versus what? 2 overcards. And this situation is going to come up a lot in Texas Hold'em. And hopefully it doesn't surprise you that you're basically coin flipping in this situation. This is why a hand like pocket 2s or pocket 3s is not really a great hand in an all-in pre-flop situation. If you're calling someone's all-in, you're calling your entire stack for basically a coin flip. It's reasonable to shove pocket 2s or pocket 3s if you think you have what's called fold equity, because you get better than this 55% equity because we add on all the times when your opponent just folds to your all-in. If you're still a novice or intermediate, I hope you enjoyed the video. As a curiosity, make sure to check out our videos on stack size, implied odds, as well as fold equity. And then I would encourage you to come back and watch this video again. It'll have an entirely different feel. Before you leave, notice how powerful pairs are. Our top 3 examples, these matchups, we have over 70% equity just with a simple pair preflop. And at the same time, remember how weak low pairs, say 5s and below, are in all-in preflop heads-up matchups. If you have pocket 5s or below, it's very reasonable, very likely that your opponent has 2 overs and you're just flipping for your entire stack. In this case, you would rather have a weak ace versus 2 face cards. You have 56% equity in that situation. Even though it's a modest bump, it's pretty intriguing to realize that say ace 2 is stronger than pocket 3's all-in preflop.